Hey everyone, this is Bruce for MTG, and today I'll be playing some Jeskai Cycling in best of 3 card standard. So Cycling is a pretty straightforward deck. The aim of the deck is to cycle a bunch of cards and use your cycling payoffs like Flourishing Fox, Valiant Rescuer, and Zenith Flare to win the game. And because it's best of 3, we also have a 15 card sideboard. So we have Redcap Melee for red decks, Glass Casket for some creature decks, lots of counter spells for like decks playing Emergent Ultimatum or other big costly spells, Shredded Sails as a nice flex card, and also a single copy of Rielle. So let's get into some games. Alright, let's do our first game against LCC with Yorion as a companion, so probably Sultai Ultimatum. I mean, this hand is a bit slow, but I think we have to keep it. Can't really complain, it has cycling cards, spells, lands, and a payoff. And I think this is a matchup that will get significantly better for us after we sideboard, but let's see how it'll play out in game 1. Looks like it's taking them a while to think about what they want to keep on mulligan. Alright, cool. So they mulligan to 6, which is definitely nice. I'm just going to play this Triome on turn 1 and pass over to them. Alright, Fox is a nice draw. Definitely just play the Fox. Play this land, and I will cycle now, because I don't want them to have a window of opportunity to Heartless Act my Fox. They could still have an Eliminate, which is fine, but this at least gets around Heartless Act, which is really nice. Okay, and if you're telling something, probably an Oron's Epiphany, but could be something else as well, maybe Behold the Multiverse. Okay, and we definitely just have to try and be super aggressive in this matchup, because especially we don't have access to many main deck counter spells in game 1, so it's basically you're just trying to kill them as quickly as you can. Okay, well that's interesting. We have kind of flooded with Pyromancers here, and we only have 3 mana, so we could be greedy and cycle a 1 mana card, trying to find something like another untapped land, which would then allow us to play a Pyromancer. But also if they have Extinction next turn, it's a huge blowout. But most Sultai Ultimatum lists are only running 1 Extinction Event, so I think first let's just attack and see what happens, and that could influence what we do next. Okay, they're just going to take it. I think we'll just play out Pyromancer here. Again, the deck does not have many lands, so it's quite unlikely that we would hit a land drop off cycling these. Better not to be greedy. If they have an Extinction Event, I mean, it is what it is, but sometimes you just have to hope that they don't have it, and that's what we're doing here. Let's see what they do about this Pyromancer. Could be like a Jwari Disruption. Oh, yeah, it's going to be an Omen of the Sea. Let's see how they scry. 0 top, 2 bottom. Oh, you love to see that. Okay, so this could be the decisive turn here. Could also be setting themselves up for a Shadow's Verdict with that double black, but that all depends on what they do now. Okay, Binding of the Old Gods. I wouldn't be surprised if this took out Improbable Alliance, but Okay, it takes out Flourishing Fox, which is also pretty good for them. Okay, well here I think that we have to start cycling some cards. Have to start drawing that second card a turn, which is really crucial to this deck. We could make Pyromancer a 4/4 Serpent and attack for 5, which I honestly really like. Get in there for 5 and put them in a position where we have a lot of ways to work with the cards in our hand that will end up in them dying. Okay, they're going to find the Hengegate Triome so they can cast Valky from their hand if they have one. Again, if they have something like a Shadow's Verdict here, alright, they have another binding, so they're just dead on board. This second Startling Development, not often that you win a game through Startling Development, but I mean, we'll take it. That is a good thing to remember when playing cycling as well, is that the cards that you have with cycling on them have abilities as well, like you can cast Boon of the Wishgiver for draw 4 cards. You don't have to cycle it away every time, it's just that oftentimes they're much better to cycle, and that's also why at the beginning of the game I cycled these Go for Bloods rather than these Startling Developments, because I thought that there would be more of a chance that the starting developments are useful later on in the game. So let's have a look at sideboarding now. Definitely want basically every counterspell. And the general rule of sideboarding with cycling, I think, is that you cut the 1-mana spells. I don't think that we need 7 counterspells. That seems very over the top. So I will cut one of the Disdainful Strokes, but we'll keep it like this. And yeah, that's how Sultai Ultimatum matchup often is in game 1. I think you really, because you don't have much counter magic, it's just an all-out race, try to kill them before they can get 7 mana and an ultimatum, and then in game 2 it should get better because you're able to bring in a lot of your counter spells, which really gives you a lot of answers to the kind of things that they're doing. Okay, game 2 now, against Sultai Ultimatum. We will probably be on the draw this game. I would definitely assume that our opponent is going to choose to play first. This hand, I think I'm going to be greedy and keep it. I mean, we're up a game, so we have a bit of leeway. Maybe if we had lost the first game and were on the play, I wouldn't keep this, but on the draw, we have quite a few chances at hitting that second land drop. Plus, if worse comes to worse and we don't hit it, there's always game 3. And this hand is pretty great. If we do hit it, we have Cycler, 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 Payoff, Payoff, and Counterspell, making it a pretty perfect hand if we are able to find a land drop. They're gonna mulligan, we'll keep. Okay, down to 5. Alright. Did not expect them to go down that low. But I will just play out Flourishing Fox on turn 1 here. Does mean that Improbable Alliance is kind of uncastable, but I think it's fine. Okay, there's a second land. Now, I think I'll just play out the Drannith Stinger for more pressure, and just swing in for 1. We still need a blue source, but if we're able to find a blue source, we are in a really great position, and even if we don't, at least we have 2 lands. And that's the thing with cycling, well, that works out really well in the end. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm not that scared of anything they could do next turn, so I will just use this turn to continue developing my board. But that's the thing about cycling, like oftentimes you end up keeping 1-landers, and I think you have to make a calculated risk, like for example if you won game 1, or if the hand can still function off 1 land, like you still have a 1-mana threat like a Flourishing Fox, and being on the draw also makes them a lot more keepable. Omen of the Sea, sure. Definitely going to be holding up counter spells into next turn because we will be in 7 mana territory for them, which also means ultimatum territory. And they foretell something. And killing the Drannith Stinger, which I think I'm fine with. I'm not going to play this Improbable Alliance because it takes me off my blue. I will cycle pre-combat though, to make the Fox a bit bigger. And let's just pass, holding up Negate, Mystical Dispute, and some cycling spells. If they cast a 7 mana spell, then we have the counter, which is really great for us. Okay, counter that. Cycle this Drannith Stinger, just to get another counter on the Fox. Okay, so if we make this a 4-4, we'll have 4, 7, 8, and 9. They go to 1, which isn't quite enough. So here I think I'll just go Improbable Alliance. Attack. And pass. See what they do. We can counter another big mana spell. Alright, they're just going to concede. I think they were pretty out of that game either way. That's a really nice win. With cycling, really shows that I think the ultimatum matchup is a lot better after you sideboard. Alright guys, so that's cycling. Let me know what you thought of the deck. I did record a really cool match against Teamer Adventures, the Luca variant, where we won through a coma that was active basically the whole game, and a turn 3 Clothis, but unfortunately OBS crashed in the middle of that, so I didn't get the recording of all 2 games. But if you guys liked that, make sure to like the video, and if you liked it, please also subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, any ideas for future decks that you'd like to see me play, let me know in the comments section. Maybe you'd like to see more cycling or more of something else in the future. I can also branch out into different formats like Historic, or maybe some Cube Draft or something like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.